Hey everyone, my name is Ryan from Indianapolis and wanted to take you on a quick tour of my basement man cave. So let's hit it. Starting off leading down the stairs here. This is a custom digital movie, I guess, poster screen that I made. The exterior is made out of just a pine and obviously cut it all up and made a frame out of it. And that's just a standard, I believe it's a 42-inch HD television that I had. And what's running it is it's a mini PC, and basically all it is a glorified slideshow, just kind of changing at the movie poster every 60 seconds or so. But that can all be customized. But that turned out really well, and very happy with it. But very cool, inexpensive thing. We'll keep on going here. So we'll go ahead and start out in the gym. So when we were building our basement, gym was pretty much an absolute necessity. It's just one of those things I don't have time nor the will to go to the actual gym. But having it here has been a godsend. Before the basement was finished, we had something down here, but it was more dungeon-esque. So, we sprung for the nice rubber flooring. We still have some gym equipment to upgrade, but for the most part, this gets us through our day-to-day. And we do have a TV in here, which my wife typically uses for her workouts. Treadmill, pretty standard stuff, but the dedicated space here definitely makes all the difference, and super happy with how this room turned out. So we'll move on to what we're calling the arcade room. So this room is another one where we wanted our dedicated room to do gaming oriented things. So first we'll start off with, this is a arcade machine. It's basically a multi-cade. It plays about, I think, 70,000 or so arcade games. It's made by Extreme Home Arcades, I believe. I got it a few years ago, and that was a nightmare getting down here. But now that it's here, it's pretty much here permanently. But that thing's super fun for all types of retro gaming. You can do Nintendo Wii on there, Xbox games, pretty much anything you can think of, up to the really more modern titles like PS5 and stuff like that. So got another little retro gaming area there, TV where the kids hang out, a little bit of VR setup. And then a big shuffleboard table, which was another one where we had kind of like, while we were building this, decided we kind of just really wanted to have that. Very, very heavy duty. It's another one of those things that now it's here. It's pretty much here forever. So we got a matching set. We had this plus some other stuff I'm going to show you, but they're all kind of the same general wood texture and color. And then the carpet in here is a specialty carpet that I had ordered online. I forget specifically where it came from. I think it was Joy Carpet, something like that. But yes, it does glow in the dark. All of the lights in here are all smart bulbs, so you can turn them to whatever color you want, dim them, whatever. That's the entire basement, has all that. So if you turn them blue, the carpet does glow. And that was kind of the point, just to do something fun, in here and kind of make this a more fun room. But, ideally, we got a few more things to do in here, paint and stuff like that. But, happy with how this room turned out. And then we have a neon sign there. Let me see if I can find the remote to turn it on. Here we go. So a nice thing about this was made to match the arcade where I grew up in northern Indiana. and just kind of there as a little homage to kind of where all this got started. So on to the theater area. This is a custom table that I built. Legs were from Etsy, chairs were from Etsy, but worked sanded this for a couple thousand hours. Just a big slab of walnut, but topped with Rubio monocoat for you people that know what that is. Again, took a long time, but well worth it. Little console table to sit and eat while you're watching a movie. The whole point of this room in particular was to have a dedicated theater area when you wanted it, but also a place to watch sports, a place to be social. Kind of wanted the best of all worlds. Yes, I could have probably enclosed this whole space here and put some walls up and had a real dedicated theater with a real, a Dolby Atmos sound system, and gone all out. But then we would have had yet another room down here, and I wanted this room to be nice and wide open to accommodate a bunch of needs. Watching movies and everything down here is still fantastic. We do have for you audiophiles out there, this is technically not a Dolby Atmos system, but we do have ceiling speakers, and we have some speakers here. So 4 in-ceiling speakers, and then behind the acoustically transparent screen, there's a front, left, and right center speaker. Front, left, and right, and a center speaker. So you technically do get the Atmos, but I know it's not technically oriented correctly and everything, but I still really enjoy watching movies down here. And it kind of was the compromise I had to make. So these are not digital movie posters. These are just standard backlit movie posters. I got these on Amazon. They're not inexpensive. I want to say they're $300 something each. But they are 12 volt, low voltage wiring. I'll show you in the back here how they're all wired, but they're all on smart switches and everything, so they can be controlled with your phone to dim them any way you want. But these are double-sided movie posters. So basically first production run movie posters. So we got a collection of those going on. But that's another thing, totally worth it. Glad I did it. The ceiling in here was a custom thing that I did. I just wanted something a little bit different in this area. Instead of doing like a standard white, textured ceiling, this was my idea. I think it gives it kind of just a different overall look and feel. And again, very, very happy with how it turned out. These are kind of like faux beams that we installed, custom made them out of the same general type of material. It's a 1x8 shiplap, and these are kind of just a combination of 1x trim materials, kind of made to look like a beam. This is the heart of the theater area here. It's an Epson LS 12000 4K projector. That thing is really awesome. Super happy with it and its performance. Hadn't had a single issue with that for I think almost a year and a half now. So can't recommend that enough. Looks really nice, gigantic, but you get what you pay for. These are all steel, I guess, textured movie posters. They're kind of hard to see the texture. These are all kind of scenes that I really liked. Some for the kids, but you can kind of see the texture here. They're called displate. I got the largest size that I think would fit here. So just another thing to kind of round out the room. So behind this wall, if you're curious how all this stuff works. So everything's kind of just powered via these smart low voltage switches essentially. And they're just kind of back behind the drywall, and everything's ran by, it's not very complicated at all. The hardest thing would be, if you have kind of a false wall behind your area, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to do that initial install. Kind of the movies that we have. So this is the heart of the system back here. Still trying to figure out if we want to mount this to the wall or anything like that, but I'm cool with it just kind of being out of the way right now. Another one of those things that getting a real couch down here would have been a major problem, especially anything of any size. So number one thing I liked about this was how easy it was to get down here because every piece is individual. Again, not super inexpensive, but if you have some tight quarters, highly recommend it. So when I was saying earlier about matching finishes on the gaming tables, so this is our air hockey table. Notice same general texture and material finishes as the shuffleboard table. Again, just wanted something to fill out the space, something we would enjoy doing as a family. So that's definitely been used quite a bit. These are really cool here. So these are metal signs for each of our kind of favorite teams here. So again, I'm spacing on the name here. Maybe I'll remember in a minute. But these signs are really cool, kind of like 3D, but they're all metal and they're powder coated and they're textured. So really nice. I know Ohio State really sticks out in this bunch, but you know, forgive my wife for being born in Columbus. But we still all root for most of these teams here, except when Ohio State plays Notre Dame, like they did in the championship last year. Pretty plain bathroom, you know, for right now. Just kind of all we got going on. Eventually we were gonna get some form of sauna in here, but just kind of waiting on that to happen. But matching countertops as the bar area, as you'll see. Same cabinets as well. This is a top you can put onto the air hockey table, and you can play table tennis with that. So do that every now and then. Just kind of big, kind of awkward to store, but you know, I'd rather have it than not. Jonathan Taylor autographed jersey. As you can tell, I'm a Colts fan, big Indiana fan in general. Popcorn machine. If you have a basement, highly recommend that. I'll show you what popcorn to use, but we use that at least once or twice a week. We have a little puzzle gaming table here. It's a three-way table. You can flip it over. There's a poker table, and then you can take it all off, and then there's a bumper pool table underneath of that. Again, same colors and textures as everything else down here. Another TV. Yes, I know, quite a few TVs down here. The bar area, the most recent addition, finally finishing, rounding out the basement. A lot of things going on here. There's this finishing underneath of the bar that matches the back side of the bar. That is it's a burnt wood technique called shoshogiban, I believe is how you pronounce it. But basically the wood is burned, and then all the kind of the charred bits are brushed off pretty aggressively, and then you're left with a very heavily textured surface, and there's nothing quite like it. It almost like really ages the wood almost instantly. So it took a long time, a lot of patience to get that done. And you got to buy one of those blow torches that are used for burning weeds. But that worked out really well. It turned out better than I thought it would. I'll show you a better example over the bar here. A little display area for knickknacks, but bar area, you know, was probably one of the last things we ended up finishing here. This is an exposed steel beam from the house that we left in, thought it looked cool. Instead of covering up with drywall or something like that. But, you know, starting to get our liquor collection, basically kind of a bourbon side over there, miscellaneous alcohols over here. Let me see if I can get a better picture of the texture of the wood here. You can tell that's really textured. It's very smooth, but very rough at the same time. I mean, the texture turned out almost perfectly. So after the wood was done, this was cedar. Tongue and groove cedar for the walls, and then 1x cedar for the trim areas. Once that was finished, I put a couple of coats of polyurethane on there, and then it was done. It is brittle, but you know, for what it's being used for, I feel like it's relatively, you know, rare that in which it's going to get damaged, other than when it was being installed. Again, a very major chore to kind of manufacture all of the wood, but again, totally worth it. These are kind of some custom cedar shelves that I made. Still finishing those, deciding on how to finish those, but content with how it looks right now. We got the mostly beer fridge and kind of other miscellaneous bar items down there, and then have a dedicated dual zone wine fridge, which again, my wife mainly uses that part, but another very nice to have. Yes, another TV. You never know, right? When you're watching sports, you might want to watch it over here, you might want to watch it over there, you might have a big group of people that want to watch something different. So, giving more options than not enough. Kind of the bourbon and whiskey section over here, probably the most used part of the bar area. I guess another Bucks item, Jim Tressel, autographed football for my wife. And one more little store or display area on the sides. But otherwise, I think that's just about it. So thank you for joining me. And if you got any questions, I'll try to answer them in the comments. All right, thanks.